my Facebook and my, there we go. All right, good. Everything is now live, all now working. I wanted to talk about a couple of topics and then just generally say that this is what we call the AMA sessions, meaning you can ask me anything about what we do, art storefronts. You can ask me anything about pricing or marketing. It doesn't matter if you're a customer or if you're not a customer. That's not good. She's saying she doesn't hear any sound. I should be connected. You gotta turn your volume up. Uh-oh, now there's two people saying I don't hear any sound. Let's see if that fixes it. Oh, that should fix it. There we go. Does that fix it, guys? Is there audio now? That's what happens when you do live broadcasts all the time. Just nothing but problems. And that's why you have to do them all the time, because then you just learn not to worry about them in the slightest. In the slightest. So hopefully that's now working. You guys, if it is, just let me know. And Dorothy, I can't do the request where there's two people because I've got all the sites all streaming at once. So technically this is an AMA. You can ask me anything. So if you've got a question on Instagram, please ask it. I'm going to respond. If you've got a question on Facebook, please ask it. I'm going to respond. But I'm going to rant a little bit before we get into it. And rant number one is the fact that there are 37 days till the start of Q4. Now, the beautiful thing about having this countdown timer is, one, a countdown timer creates urgency, okay? It creates urgency. It creates in human beings some increased motivation to actually take action, because we start to worry about FOMO, the fear of missing out. And what's so great about that countdown timer is that countdown timer works three ways, okay? It works three ways. It works for me inside my marketing department at Art Storefronts, because it lets everyone on my team know we have 37 days to get our act together until we start the Q4 marketing for our customers. It lets my customers know that they better get their butts in gear. The biggest art selling time of the year is coming. It's coming in 37 days. And it works for you guys, okay, who are potential customers and are interested, because I'm saying there's 37 days until the biggest art selling time of the entire year, okay? It is coming. It is coming shortly. And if you're going to run a marathon, you probably want to start doing some training a couple of months, i.e. 37 days and change, before the biggest art selling time of the year is here. Serious important thing. And Yanko, are you a customer, Yanko? The new live art show playbook, we have a new update on that. Let me know if you're a customer or not, because I can't tell what you're asking me for. Q4 is coming, guys. The difference between those that make a lot of money this Q4 and make no money this Q4 are going to be the ones that do a little bit of pre-marketing and run a sale, okay? The difference between the ones that are successful and the ones that are not successful are going to be the ones that actually take some action. And I sound like a little rah-rah, but for many of you, just getting something in the water is the low-hanging fruit of this entire operation, okay? And can potentially be a huge deal for you. So that's number one. Clock is ticking down, running out of time, not that time left. Got to get your stuff up on a website so you're ready to sell. Got to start doing some regular and consistent marketing. And then the minute that these Q4 sales start getting in the water, the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which does not start on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, they go like 2 weeks ahead of time, 3 weeks ahead of time now, is massive. So I say all that to say you guys are going to hear me banging the drum on this. And just please understand, I am banging the drum on this for you guys. I am banging the drum on this selfishly for my team and me. I'm banging the drum on this for our customers, and we're not going to stop, because it is the biggest art selling time of the year. And the more that we bang the drum, the more everybody takes action, the more everyone takes it seriously. This is the time of the year to be marketing and attempting to sell your art and photography. If you never have, wow, is your timing good if you're just going to get started right now, because now is the time. That's number one. Number two, okay, yeah, Yunko is asking me about this new page. Yeah, I think it's already ready, Yunko. I think it's already on. You can already use it. So if you just write a email to customer support, the thing's ready to go. It's awesome. She's asking about the new live art show pages, which we can get into. That's number one. Number two, and this is an important point. And by the way, for the ones that are just joining, you can ask me anything. That's what AMA stands for. Ask me anything about anything. I will respond. I'm ranting in the meantime. One of the things that that everybody talks about, like in startup land, right? And what's startup land? Anyone that's trying to build a business, you have a company, you have a startup, is doing the things that don't scale. And so I want to define that. And then I want to give you the example that exists for your world. And then I want to tell you about how I eat my own dog food. Okay. And hold on, Kassan's asking a question. Is there a main website that is Art Storefronts as a platform which presents all the artists represented by Art Storefronts? No, there's not, Kassan. That's not what we do. We're not a marketplace. All of them are individual entities, not related to one another. And that's what we do. We teach you to own that entity, which is yours, and then promote that entity. But on my quick rant here, so doing the things that don't scale is simply defined is it is and there's the backstory is probably doing the things that don't scale is the highest ROI that you could be doing. Highest ROI activity for your business. What do I mean? ROI, return on investment. Doing the things that don't scale means you can only do it so many times in a day. And the question that I like is an example of doing the things that don't scale would be writing handwritten thank you notes for every single solitary person that leaves you a comment on Instagram, right? You could do that up to a point, but at a certain point, you couldn't do it anymore because your hands would be hurting because you'd be writing so many notes, right? It's a really, really hard thing to do, but it might just be the most valuable thing that you can do. And so there's this notion in the business community, the startup community, that early on, you want to focus on the things that don't scale. For every single solitary person that signs up for your email newsletter, you want to write them a personalized email. Again, you can do that when you're getting 2 or 3 signups a day, but you can't do that when you're getting 500 signups a day, right? And sort of the art equivalent of it is, one of the ways that I talk about it and what you guys do is like, until you guys, artists and photographers, are selling so many pieces a day that you can't individually meet via video with every single solitary buyer, okay, that is interested in your work, you are probably not working on the highest ROI activity, okay? I want someone that comes to your website and is interested in a video chat with you, okay? You want to talk about something that doesn't scale? Video chats, right? There's only so many of those you can have in a day. And then you're done. You're cooked, right? Like you don't have any more brain juice left, any brain power left because these Zoom calls are frying our brains. But no, seriously, probably the highest leverage thing an artist or a photographer could do are the people that are interested in your art, get them into a one-on-one video chat and attempt to sell them where you're actually merchandising the work and you're holding it and you're talking about it and you're talking about your inspiration and you're comparing one piece to another piece and you're letting people know that you love plants, right? And they love plants and you're bonding. It's something that doesn't scale, but boy, is it an effective way to sell art. And boy, is live video an effective way to sell art. My goodness. But just to let you know, okay, that I, myself, my marketing team eats our own dog food here. What does that mean? I'm not sitting here giving you advice and telling you what to do if we're not doing it ourselves. I'm not telling you to run live art shows all the time if we're not doing it ourselves. This is live on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on our personal Facebook group, and on Twitter. Why am I doing that? Because it's effective. Why are we constantly recommending you guys do it? Because it's insanely effective and it's the future, right? So eating our own dog food. This is how crazy we are when we try things, okay? Doing the things that don't scale. Do you know what I've been doing recently? Me, myself. I run the marketing department here. I have a whole bunch of people that work for me. I have a team. I have been looking at the people that request demos for art storefronts. I have been looking at their websites, looking at their Instagram, looking at their Facebook, making them a video and sending it to them. Now, that is something that doesn't scale. It's actually exhausting, to be honest with you. They request a demo. I go and I look at the website. I go and look at the Instagram. I go and look at the Facebook. I come up in my mind with the advice that I want to give them. I make a video and I send it to them. Okay. That is something that does not scale, right? But it's a perfect example of we are constantly trying the things that don't scale. And maybe it works and maybe it doesn't, right? Maybe it's a good use of my time and it helps bring new customers aboard. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's terrible. We'll never know, but it gives you an example of something that we're trying, and the fact that we're eating our own dog food. What's been interesting about it is I have probably looked at over the last 2 weeks, let's call it 300 individuals on various different niches, different subject matters, different subject materials spread all over the United States and other countries. And the garbage state in which the majority of your websites are in, by which I mean not set up correctly, by which I mean not updated in a long, long time, by which I mean I'm clicking buttons that don't work, by which I mean you've got social icons down there that are not linked to your social sites, is really atrocious. It's really atrocious at a macro. And one of the things that I realize is that it's less about the website, right? Like, yeah, okay, whatever, the website, you're working on the website, you're doing stuff. It all just comes back to the marketing. If you're not actively marketing, you're not actively updating the website. And what do I see? Website after website after website. It's not updated. And the reason it's not updated is not because they're not creating work. It's because their websites do not work for them. They're not selling anything. You're not making any progress whatsoever. And most importantly, you're not active marketing. And like out of the 300 I looked at, there were like 4 or 5 that were like actively doing the work. And I made these videos in which I was like, look, this is not a sales pitch. Okay. I'm not blowing smoke up your posterior. You have no idea how rarefied atmosphere you're in. Your website is up. It is being updated regularly. You are posting regularly on the socials, and you're just missing on a few things, A, B, and C. Call me. You need to put in a demo. I'm going to show you what to do. And Susan, I love this. I'm going to show you how to do this in a second, Susan. But first, there's a question here on Instagram. I'm doing questions. And so Jessica's asking, I'm a new artist. I've only sold a few pieces to friends. Is it too soon for me to do an art storefront? It's a tough question. That's a really, really tough question. I mean, I want you that it's your call, Jessica, because it could go both ways. Okay. And let me explain. One, if you're committed in your head to becoming an artist, and that you are going to do it no matter what, that it's never too early to join art storefronts, because what we're going to do is teach you how to market. That's going to get you the feedback that's eventually going to have you arrive at the style that you're going to be successful with. Okay. What I don't like is when somebody says, I'm committed to this style of art that I do. I've never tried to sell it to anyone. And what I'm going to do instead of trying to sell it to someone, because that's really what my biggest fear is to try and sell it to people, I'm going to go put it online and start marketing, because in my mind, that's what I've been told is the best way to do things. And it's really like a hands-off way of doing things, right? It's like a digital don't touch anything way of doing things. Like, oh, I'm just going to throw this stuff on my website and people are magically going to come in the middle of the night and buy it, right? And what ends up happening to the people that do that is oftentimes they find that the product that they're creating is not a product the market wants, Jess. It's not something that anybody wants to buy. And shorten your name. I hope it's okay to call you Jess. And they just spend months and months and months working on their marketing and getting really, really frustrated because nobody is buying their work, right? So in those cases, it can be difficult. And in those cases, I want you to have sold work to people that are not named, mother, brother, family, friend, sister, and such, because it's more real, right? But if you're going to make it as an artist, come hell or high water, then it's never too early to join, because like the reality is that, all of our most successful artists are constantly hacking at new styles and new series. And sometimes they're like complete departures in terms of subject material from what they were doing earlier. And do you know what they understand? That's okay. That's okay as an artist. You guys got to fire a bunch of arrows. If you just fire one arrow, the odds of you hitting the bullseye are very, very low, right? Amarillo Art is asking, what is an example of something that doesn't scale? It's a broad way of talking about what you should probably be working on are the things that you couldn't work on if you had to do them 100 times a day. So the example I used was writing somebody a thank you note, a one-off thank you note, right? Like, thank you so much for leaving that Instagram comment. You have no idea how awesome it was. Let's just assume it was an Instagram comment. You had the address, and you could snail mail them, and you snail mail them that thank you note. Like, you couldn't do that 1,000 times a day, right? You could only do that probably 30 times a day, and your hands would fall off. Well, That is an example of something that would probably drastically impact the business more so than an extra Facebook or an Instagram post, right? And that's sort of the concept of doing the things that don't scale. I realize I got to make like a big list on it. Okay, Susan. So Susan's asking, so how do we offer video chat on our site? If you're a customer, Susan, it's actually pretty easy. You can just throw a button inside of your announcement bar up top and say, interested in having an art chat? Click here to book one. And then on the web page, give them a little form that says, here's how you book one. And we're going to have some more advanced ones to talk about it. But without getting too stuck in the weeds, Susan, anytime somebody's interested in your art and wants to talk about it, book the chat, book the video chat, and again, the kicker in this whole thing is that you have to make sure that they're qualified, right? A qualified buyer. And that's sometimes hard to do. But if they are a qualified buyer, there is nothing more valuable that you could do than get into a video chat. Okay. Video is just a straight up catalyst for the chemical reaction that is an art sale, for the chemical reaction that is getting someone to sign up for art storefronts, for just about everything. It's the next best thing to being in person. So it is just so insanely effective. And you guys wonder why I will not shut up about the live art shows, because it gets you comfortable on video. I know if you're serious about this business, that you are going to be running hundreds of these things for the rest of your art creating life. And so the more of them that I can get you to do now, the more you can fall flat on your face and completely blow it and have internet connection issues and have AirPod issues because you left them in your shorts and your wife grabbed them. It's not her fault, it's yours, and threw them in the washing machine and now they're buzzing, right? Like, you learn all of these various different things just by shipping, right? Just by shipping. It's so important. Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna read this comment from Instagram. So Alan, is it Alan? I'm gonna think it's Alan. It is. I'm a still light painting print photographer, and I collect Dutch Golden Age artifacts and Roman pottery from the 2nd century AD. Wow. And I photograph them. I want to try ASF, but I don't know how to price my work. Yeah, no one knows how to price your work. In that case, if you're selling the artifacts, are you selling the artifacts? Or are you just taking photos of the artifacts? I don't know. That's super wild, actually. Regardless of what you're doing, the pricing is actually not a huge issue. Pricing is such an easy one to fix. Everyone gets so hung up on pricing. Pricing is an example of what we call a reversible decision, meaning you could price your artifacts, your work, Alan, low one day, high the next day, medium the next day, and see how it feels. It is a reversible decision that you can change at any point in time. So it's not worth stressing about. And you won't know if you have the right price point or not until you start working on your marketing. And I already know you're not working on your marketing. So you'll never know if you have the right price point until you start working on your marketing and the work either sells or it doesn't sell. And there's a bunch of scenarios that come up there, right? You sometimes are priced too high and it's crickets and everyone tells you the work's awesome. But when you say, are you interested? They're like, no, 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 no. Yeah, okay, I got it. So you're selling photos of the artifacts. Yeah, you don't need to overthink it, Alan. You set the prices, you start marketing, and you see if you get any bites. And multiple different scenarios happen. If you're lucky, then all the work sells instantaneously. Well, guess what? Time to raise your prices. If it's somewhere in the middle, then you need to do some more marketing, right? If it's you get a bunch of people that are interested, but they're not buying, then you say, hey, I saw that you were interested in the work, but you didn't buy it. What price would you buy it at, right? There's all these kinds of games you can play, but none of them are even relevant until you start driving a bunch of strangers to the work, Alan. So don't stress about today's problems today. One, getting enough people to see the work. Two, is it up on a website where it will actually people can actually see it, right? And then you can adjust the prices as you go. So Linda's asking me, how do you find high-end buyers? This is a great question. So you find high-end buyers the same way everyone finds high-end buyers, by working on their marketing. Okay. Everyone thinks that the decision to find high-end buyers is like a really, really easy and strategic thing to do, right? Like the reality is, aside from the 99-cent stores, pretty much everyone in the world wants to target high net worth individuals. Okay. And if everyone wants to do something by definition, it's going to be very difficult to do. So we don't stress about that, Linda. What we understand is an absolute fact of marketing. Okay. An absolute fact of marketing. Everyone's followers falls into the socioeconomic bell curve. You have lower income folks, you have lower middle class, middle class, upper middle class, and high net worth individuals. Okay. And it follows a normal bell curve, right? Just like society. What you do is you don't worry about focusing all your marketing to one point of the curve. Instead, what you do is you just work on your marketing. Okay. And guess what happens? By doing that, you're adding more people and more people and more people into your ecosystem. And it is actually the most effective way to find the high net worth individuals, right? What ends up happening is the people that are on the low end of the socioeconomic scale that you think are worthless. Guess what? Their uncle's the high net worth individual. And the only way you're going to get the uncle's attention is by somebody that's sitting at the dinner table with them. You know, the only person that's sitting at the dinner table with them, that low net worth individual that saw your work and was following you for 3 years and that told your uncle, right? That's how it works in the real world. And you can go and attempt to target high net worth individuals. But in my experience, in terms of the ROI, return on investment of your time, if you want to attract high net worth individuals and high net buyers, you do that by normal marketing consistently, 52 weeks a year, year after year, and year after year after year after year after year, you attract more of them. You attract more of them and more of them. And then also, you attract high net worth individuals by acquiring one in the first place and treating them like a VIP, which is why a collector list is so important. So don't stress about trying to find them, Linda. All that is a recipe for you're never going to work on your marketing, period. Oh, I'll get started when I just can find that list of high net worth individuals, which is the biggest bunch of nonsense in the history of mankind. It doesn't exist. If it did, everyone and their brother would want it one. Everyone and their brother would be after it, right? And like, look, I've seen plenty of people attempt to go after the high net worth buyers. And all I'm saying is the people that just focus on their marketing attract more of them than anyone else does. And that's just a truth. That's just the truth of it. And so you can't let it get hung up on in your mind to say like, ooh, I've got to do this, or this, or I'm not going to attract high net worth individuals. You just need to work consistently on your marketing, which, tell me honestly, Linda, are you working consistently on your marketing? And if so, how long have you been doing that for? Right? Like it's, and I'm not picking on you, I promise. The high end buyers thing is just it's an absolute trap that people fall in. And it's just total nonsense. But for those that are just joining, it's an AMA. You can ask me anything, whether you're an art storefront's customer or not. The whole point of these things is we get to the end of the month and we have a huge sale that's ending at the end of the month, which is I think at the end of the week. And we get overloaded and not everyone gets to get their question in. And so I realize if I don't start doing these videos, we get in big trouble. So that's the whole point. So if you're on Instagram, you can hammer out a comment. I will pin it. I'll let you know that I'm getting that next on Facebook. So too. And so Linda's asking a great size. So what is the average pricing for an individual painting? And I've been doing this for a while, Linda. So I promise I'm not picking on you. It's a flawed question. The premise that's underpinning your question. Okay. And there's different varieties of it. How many hours a week do I need to work on my marketing? What is the best selling size? What is the hottest selling media type? What is the number one venue to market in? And underpinning all of those questions is the premise that there's some sort of magical formula that works for everybody. And there just isn't. That everyone has a different journey. You learn this again and again and again when you're in this business. Like there is no blueprint that applies to everybody. There never has been and there never will be. It's the nature of art that it can't be like comparison shopped, right? Like the pricing is completely arbitrary. But in many ways, it's really, really freeing. But what I can say is that you'll never know what your sweet spot is until you work on the marketing, until you get feedback. And then once you have feedback, you're good to go. Practically speaking, though, in terms of sizing, I'll just say this. Like, look, there's not that many people that have gigantic walls, right? So, paint some small ones, some medium-sized ones, some bigger ones, and you're good to go. All right. Yeah, so Marie Artist is asking what my experience is with muralists. It's hard being a muralist, right? Like, there's only so many mural gigs that you can get, right? And then when you do get the mural gigs, they are extremely time consuming, right? And so really being a muralist is sort of no different than being a service-based photographer. Your business essentially is just trading dollars for hours, which is a hard business to grow. Now, what's interesting about being a muralist is, yes, you can always raise your prices, right? Grow that way. But you really need some other products to sell because you're not going to be getting one mural after another, after another, after another, after another. So that's the difficulty in it. But yes, Maria, it's still a good business in the sense that you have a revenue source that's working and you can do murals and that's wonderful. But I want you doing murals. I want you doing kids' bedrooms. I want you selling prints. I want you selling originals and all of the above, because the more revenue sources that you have, the easier it is to make it in this business, right? Um, Okay, so Katrina's asking a good question. What is the best way to sell high priced art? Prices starting at 2,000 to 10,000. Start on your marketing and be good at your craft such that your work actually commands those prices, right? Like, you can price anything. You could price your work that high, or you could price your work extremely cheap. If the work is good enough, you'll command the price. But guess what? No one's buying it, whether it's cheap or expensive, unless you work on your marketing, Katrina. So that's what you got to do. You got to start. And she's asking another question. Guy, I love this question. This is a great one. And then I'll get to yours, Deb. Is it okay to list your prices or to only have a contact buyer for pricing? It is 100% okay to list your prices. Right now, this is the type of question that absolutely infuriates me, because there's so many people that will tell you if you list your prices, you don't know what you're doing, right? And I got to pull it. How can I pull this up? So there is a report, okay, that is put out by Art Basel, and who's it by? It's by Art Basel, and I'm just going to see if I can get my screen share going on. And let me see if I can. If I can, I can. Oh, good, I can. So here it is. I have it, and it's called the Art Market Report 2021, and it's by Art Basel and UBS. These guys essentially really only survey the top 1%, 1 to 2% of working artists in the world, meaning you can read artists or photographers that are selling well over $100,000 a year. And check this out, okay? And this Katerina is 100% for you, okay? Check this out. So they did a survey, right? And again, these guys survey only the biggest artist collectors, like people that are in artists that are in Gagosian, or that are being sold by Sotheby's, that are on the top 100 contemporary artists. But check this out, okay? And I quote, 90% of HNW is high net worth. 90% of HNW, I don't even have it on my screen, sorry. Let me move myself out of the way. And I'm just going to read this for you, Instagram. They'll be able to see it. Visited an art fair or a gallery OVR in 2020, and 72% of these high net worth individuals felt it was important or essential to have a price posted when they were browsing works of art for sale online. So there you go. There's an official survey that tells you it is absolutely critical for the high net worth individuals to list the pricing, right? But look, the reality is, Katrina, these are, if your work is that good, you've got zero problems with the high net worth individuals. Like, your work is not going to scare them or push them away or whatever else. Okay. That's just not how it goes. So that's what I would sell. Okay. So what Jeannie is saying here, I sell both paintings and photography. I have the photography that shows up first on my homepage and paintings on the second time on my website. I'm wondering if it's too confusing. No, it's not too confusing. Don't worry, Jenny. Throw it all on there and start marketing. Come back and see me in a year. If in a year somebody tells you it's confusing and they're not buying things, then you have a problem. Otherwise, you do not have a problem at all. You are the brand as much as anyone else is. So that's what I would say. And let me see your comment. I'm going to lose it. Hold on. Let me see. It takes time to build relationships with potential clients. Consistency. Nothing can be further than the truth from that one, or closer to the truth. 100%. It takes time. Nobody wants to hear that, though, do they? Okay, let me go back to the Facebook comments. All right, so Jenny, yeah, I answered yours. You go live. Don't worry about it. Okay, Faye's saying, I paint slow. How do you do live art shows when you don't have new work? I don't have a lot of old work either. Consequently, how do you update your website and or post a lot if you're not able to work right now? Yeah, you got to get creative, Faye. You have to do a lot of your process type of stuff. And do you have originals or do you have prints too? Because the prints really help on the live art shows. And everyone kind of has like a different set of circumstances to bear that's unique to them. And you sometimes just have to get creative. So it's okay that you paint slow, but you got to have prints on hand. And when you do the live art show, just you can have a flash sale of 20 prints of one piece, and when they're gone, right? And turn that camera on and do it. And it can be a piece that you did a while back. It doesn't have to be your brand new stuff. So you always have to figure out a way to get creative on it. Okay, so Lorna's asking, hi, I have a website for my tattoo business, and over the years, I've added art to the site. I love that you're doing it that way. It's the best way to do it. What is your viewpoint on using my tattoo client list to send art related emails? 100%. 100%, Lorna. Now, there are some tactical that you can do, but let's zoom out of it conceptually. Step one, and by the way, you want to talk about like a deeply bonded relationship, go no further than a tattoo artist. My goodness, I'm having connection problems on Instagram. It's just so part and parcel. So I'm waiting. Okay. I got disconnected there for a second, so I'm coming back because I want to talk about this. So Lorna's asking me about, and a lot of people are like this. You have another business, right? And you do artwork of some kind. And these people in this other business trust you. And by the way, do you want to talk about the level of trust, no like and trust that develops after somebody gets on a chair and exposes bare naked skin and lets you stick a needle in it 55 times with ink? Okay. There is a high level of trust between a tattoo artist and a potential customer. And it becomes a very, very strong bond. So your step number one, Lorna, is, do these people know that you're selling fine art? They better, because guess who people like to buy fine art from? People that they know, like, and trust. So step one is, do these people know? They need to know. Step number two, there's tasteful ways that you can do it, right? You don't need to be emailing them all the time. And number three, it's a great use of Facebook and Instagram ads, because you can take that email list, you can put it in audience in Facebook, and then you can show them the art with the Facebook ad, spend $50 on it, and you haven't emailed them or annoyed them yet. And then you can send them an email. So yes, do it. Just don't be annoying about it. These people love you, Lorna. You inked them up, right? Like, talk about a bond with people, potentially, like massive bond that. So yeah, that's what I would say. Oy. But yes, doing an AMA, guys, and where I started this thing, which is how many days left till the start of Q4, the biggest art selling time of the entire year. The difference between the people that are going to make a great amount of money this Q4 and the ones that are not, the bar at the very bottom, are the ones that are going to start marketing now and then have sales when the time is right. So you're going to see me, you're going to see everyone on my marketing team, everything that we put out as a business, art storefronts, banging the proverbial drum. I don't have a drum on my desk, otherwise I'd be banging it nonstop, because I want you all getting the FOMO right now, the fear of missing out, the FOMO, because this Q4 is going to be massive. And God forbid any of us are in lockdowns or any type of a COVID shut-in situation, because all that's going to do is pump the sales even harder, right? And so it's going to be a big year for art of photography sales. The time to start getting ready for Q4 is not 2 weeks before Black Friday. It is right now, starting today. You have to have your art up on a website so it's ready to sell. You need to be doing regular marketing so you have some people to have the sale too. And then you need to run some sales. Now, obviously, we are going to be doing so much tactical between now and then. How to announce sales, how to tease sales, how to run a live art show. What does that look like mechanically? But if you don't start doing all of these various different things now, you're in a lot of trouble. Okay. You are not going to have a great Q4. Doing something, okay? Doing something starting now, consistently between now and then, even if you only got 30 minutes a week, is the barrier for where success starts. Okay. There is time between now and the run up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday to get going, get some things in the water, and have a sale. So, all right, I'm running out of gas. Any final questions? I'll hang on for a second, but I'm running out of horsepower here at the end of the day. I've made so many videos today, I can't even see straight. Eat my own dog food yet again. Okay, guys, I think I will be leaving it there, but all week long, because it's our last week, because we have a huge sale ending, I, myself, members of the marketing team, we're going to be doing AMAs. And so if you see one of these AMA things, like the AMA cactus image in the background, ask me anything. Or if you see one on Facebook where I have the banner on, or you're watching on YouTube, or you're watching on Twitter, or you're watching anywhere, it doesn't matter if you're a customer already. The AMA stands for Ask Me Anything. You can ask whatever you like, any questions, and we're going to be available all week long, attempting to answer them. And I know sometimes, it's just about when you catch people online, right? And so that's the ball game. And we won't have the calendar Susan completely put up ahead of time on October, but that's sort of an interesting question. I'll find out how far ahead of time we are on it, but yeah, we oh man, do we have a lot to do. Um, yeah, and I appreciate Faye saying thanks. I find these things to be highly motivating. That's the ball game. We all need the motivation. We all need, and Faye's a customer, right? Like we all need the motivation, you guys. It's not hyperbole. I don't care if you're a customer or not. Okay. If you're a customer, obviously you're going to get a whole heck of a lot of love. If you're not a customer, do you know what I want you to do? I want you to get your head out of the sand and realize that there is a reason that more art sells in Q4 than usually the other 3 quarters combined. It's just a huge buying season. It's like the time when all the fish are going to be at the beach. And it's like all you have to do is just say, oh my gosh, I got to get my fishing pole and make sure I have a line in the water. Like that is step one for success. So if I bang the drum and I start banging the drum incessantly, Faye's getting fired up. I'm getting fired up. So that's what I'm talking about here. And that's what happened. Bill, you just got to request a demo and our outreach staff will show you all the bells, all the whistles and everything that we do. But that's what I got, guys. I'm going to be pounding the pavement on these AMAs all week long. Not kidding. You have questions. You can ask anytime. You can leave comments too, and we'll answer them after the fact. But big week. Sales ending this week. So, yeah, we'll be around. We'll be taking questions and comments. And thanks for the questions today. I thought they were awesome. I appreciate you guys. That was a good session. Okay, bye now.